Metaphors are not just rhetorical devices suitable for English classes or perceptive poets. In your business content right now, it's likely that you're using a lot of metaphors. For example, as you're talking to your customers about a path to success, you may be showing them a road or a mountain. When you're talking about revenue growth, you might be using some agriculture metaphor like growing plants or trees. You might be using phrases like low-hanging fruit to talk about easy solutions, or you might be showing an efficient engine to symbolize a smooth operation. And what these metaphors lack in originality, they make up for it in clarity. Metaphors are helpful for several reasons. Take this example, in which a seller is contrasting a current solution with an ideal one. You can see how a metaphor helps an audience link an abstract concept with something concrete. In this example, the phrase solution is abstract. It is not available to the senses, but a pile of clothes is. A metaphor also helps your audience link unfamiliar concepts with familiar ones. So while prospects may not be familiar with your solution, at some point, they will have faced some concrete chaos like this, especially if they have kids. A metaphor also brings attention to what is essential. In this example, we're not so focused on the wall or on the floor, but rather on the contrast between disorder versus an organized set of possibilities. But are all metaphors equally effective? If you create them or if someone else hands you some corporate materials that include metaphors, should you just accept them or should some metaphors be challenged? Here are 3 neuroscience studies I conducted based on research questions related to challenges that business professionals face when selecting metaphors. Let's start with the first study about mixing metaphors. I'm sure you notice this often. Business presenters might be jumping from a golf course to indicate precision, to a space shuttle to indicate innovation, and then to a speedometer to show how business is accelerating. When you vary metaphors across a presentation, does it create engagement or confusion? In the neuroscience study, 4 groups of buyers looked at various amounts of mixed metaphors, anywhere from 2 to 4, even 8 different metaphors within the same presentation. The presentation was about a software platform, and it included industry trends and challenges, the merits of a proposed solution, and a follow-up segment where the seller asked for a second meeting. To symbolize various business concepts, I included a construction metaphor, different belts used in a typical engine, the proverbial needle in the haystack, city traffic, advancing through a board game, a robot looking through a crystal ball, climbing a mountain, and some delicious ice cream scoops. My hypothesis was that the more extreme metaphor mix would have a negative impact on the buyer's brain. I was wrong. The more I varied the metaphor, the higher the motivation, the lower the fatigue, and the better the synchronization between buyers' brains. Brain synchronization is typically related to better collaboration, cooperation, and shared understanding, which are desirable dimensions during a sales presentation. It is important to know that while people did remember better in the highly varied metaphor condition, we kept one thing constant and repeated, one main message and 3 supporting points we wanted buyers to remember. Why is it that mixing metaphors works so well? It may be because the mix produces a more complex and elaborated set of connections in the brain, which might help someone make inferences beyond concepts connected to each metaphor alone. In other words, the combination becomes more impactful than the sum of each individual metaphor. In addition, the more complex a concept is, the more metaphors you may require to help your audiences understand it fully.